Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online Series 8 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We are almost done using all of the restricted Pokemon, at least the serious restricted Pokemon in Series 8. I think the main ones we have left are the 2 Kyurem forms and Lunala. Afterwards, then, it is on to some of the less serious ones, and we'll see if we can get any teams created around those. But yeah, Kyurem-White has been on the list for quite a while, and so I am finally trying it out. This is built by a player called Filippo. I think we actually featured a Soak Inteleon team by him about a year ago or so. So he sent this to me on Twitter, so huge thank you to him. And yeah, it's a really interesting team, obviously revolving around Kyurem-White. Kyurem-White just does so much damage with its same type attack bonuses with Draco Meteor and Blizzard, and obviously those turn into really strong max moves as well. And then you also have Fusion Flare, which turns into Max Flare, which is really, really powerful. So what's interesting about the Kyurem here is that you can obviously max it, but you can also choose to just play it in regular form, and it can be supported by like Thundurus, for example, right? Thundurus can max Airstream, increase Kyurem speed, and then max Darkness to decrease the opposing special defense. AV Thundurus with Defiant has really been around everywhere, one of the most dominant sets in Series 8, and really continues to be the case. So pretty standard stuff for the most part, classic Light Clay, Grimmsnarl, Citrus Berry, Incineroar, Water Urshifu over the Dark Urshifu, which is pretty cool to see. That's definitely valuable against a lot of common threats in the format, especially those Incineroars running around. And finally, a Iron Barbs. I don't know why I pointed out Iron Barbs. That's actually, every Ferrothorn runs that, but Iron Defense, Body Press, Gyro Ball, Leech Seed, Ferrothorn. So no Protect, which is really interesting, but you have a lot of coverage between all of your attacks, and you're able to actually get some damage off with Gyro Ball and Body Press while also healing back consistently with Leech Seed and that leftovers. Finally, I think the Scary Face on Grimmsnarl is really important to mention because Kyurem-White's base speed isn't amazing, but if you partner with that Grimmsnarl, you can just go Scary Face into max move. For example, against Zacian, Scary Face Max Flare can absolutely destroy it right from the start. And Zacian, obviously, a trickier matchup for this Kyurem specifically. So I think this team is definitely well composed. Your main max options are definitely going to be that Thundurus and Kyurem, and you're going to try to use Ferrothorn, Urshifu, Incin, and Grimmsnarl for support. Incin and Grimmsnarl primarily for general disruption. Ferrothorn to kind of give you a late game win condition, and then classic Water Urshifu. So yeah, either way, let's jump into today's episode. Thanks again to Filippo for the team. There's a rental and a paste down in the description below, and let's get started with this one. If you enjoy, please share support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your least favorite Pokemon to face up against in Series 8 is down in the comments section below. Let me know. I think my answer is probably Venusaur, just because with Venusaur, it feels impossible to cover every option that Venusaur can go for typically. Like, it can go for, Sleep Powder, it can go for a Max Ooze, it can go for G-Max Vine Lash. Weather Ball is a pretty common tech on it as well, so I think my answer is Venusaur just because it can be a total pain to go up against, and it feels like it's impossible to cover for the Sleep Powder option as well as the Max option often. And I think Venusaur comps in Series 8 are just even tougher to go up against. Your standard Venusaur comp now has like Venusaur, Groudon, Alecki, Umbreon, just to name a couple of examples. Charizard, obviously, as well. So, yeah. Oh, boy. I feel like I've gone up against something like this before. It's just classic Shuckle plus Chansey stuff. And just as I was talking about Venusaur, my opponent has one here. So the main thing to watch out for is, okay, Liepard plus Kyurem lead, right? You can just go for Copycat plus Trick Room. I can Fake Out with Incin. Wait, this Ferrothorn's actually really interesting because I can just Iron Defense and Leech Seed. Wait, I think Ferrothorn's actually really good here. My opponent could just go with Sun. Ooh, what if I went Grimmsnarl Kyurem and then Scary Face to deal with Palkia? Wait, that's actually kind of interesting. Ferrothorn in the back, and then I think I like Urshifu just because I can crit Surging Strikes. Anytime you see Chansey plus Shuckle, the whole idea is to use Power Split or Guard Split, whatever it is, and make Chansey basically impossible to KO. So if I were playing against this in a tournament, like Timer would actually be a very serious win condition because often these teams will lose all of their Pokemon except for Chansey, but then you just basically can't KO Chansey. Okay, it is going to be Liepard plus the Palkia. So we got Grimmsnarl plus Kyurem. They have pressure. I don't know if they're going to go for a Trick Room here. I'm down to Light Screen regardless, I think. And Wormwind here. Yeah, that seems okay to me. I guess you could always just click Fake Out into Grimmsnarl. You would always click Fake Out into Grimmsnarl and just max Wormwind into Palkia. Or, sorry, Kyurem. But they're not going to max turn 1. Or they're... Well, I think their pressure went off first, right? So that means they're not maxing. Huh. What are they going for, then? I actually don't see much of a reason to not max Palkia. Unless you don't have Chansey plus Shuckle in the back. But I think, yeah, this is where Ferrothorn could be really huge. You can't Toxic into it. If I get a Leech Seed off, I get Infinite Recovery. Okay, they're going to go for Fake Tears. That makes sense. Don't know if I survive then after Fake Tears. I do have Light Screen, though, so I'm thinking we do, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, Kyurem hangs on. Nice job, Kyurem. That's actually huge. I guess the downside is that I can't go for Fake Tears onto... Or Screech, or... Not Screech, what am I saying? A Scary Face onto Liepard. So Liepard can just foul play my Kyurem next turn. I mean, it's not a terrible turn 1, but kind of frustrating because I could have just gone Scary Face plus Wormwind into Palkia. I think that probably would have been better. But yeah, I don't know if my opponent can really break through with my... Okay, so let's see who they bring out. Oh, they just bring out Venusaur. Okay, interesting. So that means they didn't just go with the Shuckle stuff in the back. Okay. Well, I'm doing a Scary Face into Venusaur and Hailstorm into it. That also explains why they didn't max Palkia on turn 1. Although frustrating because it feels like I kind of just win the game if I Fake Tears plus Wormwind into Palkia turn 1. Not Fake Tears, Scary Face. I feel like there's really no reason to not go for that, to be honest. Okay, they switch out. Yeah, that's fine by me. And so it's Torkoal in the back. I mean, they went with a clear 4 here. They didn't go with the Shuckle plus Chansey stuff, which honestly I'm happy to see. Although I guess now my Ferrothorn's really useless given that there's a Torkoal. So let's see. I think the Scary Face here is huge. I'm just hoping Kyurem outspeeds afterwards. I think it should, right? I'm just not 100% confident on that. Because I don't remember if this is max speed Kyurem, if it's modest. And I don't know if they're timid Venusaur or modest Venusaur. But max Flare could have been interesting because we could have expected Torkoal to switch in there. But it's good that like Liepard didn't go for a foul play onto Kyurem. Okay, nice, we outspeed. That's absolutely huge because I also changed the weather, which means now I can just bring out Urshifu and Surging Strikes into the Torkoal. That's a 1-hit KO. Let's go, Kyurem. Oh. Nice, nice. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think we actually had our bases covered pretty well because we had the I don't know. Anytime I see Shuckle plus Chansey, like I still don't have like a definitive way to beat that yet. So I got to think about that on paper a little bit more. But that obviously is the best case scenario, and I think should seal us the game now, given that we have Urshifu in the back. Urshifu just needs to Surging Strikes to KO the Torkoal, and then Ferrothorn wins 1v1 against the Liepard. And obviously we still have Kyurem out as well, right? So in this position, I think I'm fine to just go for a Spirit Break into the Liepard. Is there a reason to max guard here? I think it's fine to max guard. I think we're so far ahead the game's over after that last turn. But you should never think about it that way. You should always think about what is the one way you can lose the game. They just go for Snarl. I think Snarl would have KO'd Kyurem there, so yeah, I'm fine with that. Oh, actually, with Light Screen up, I'm not 100% sure. But Spirit Break should be a 2-hit KO onto the Liepard, and with Urshifu in the back, this should be a wrap, I think. Never mind. I keep underestimating how strong Grimmsnarl is, to be honest. Yeah, that's actually just a 1-hit KO without the Sash. And they go for an Eruption, but I think with Light Screen we might even survive, and then I can just Fake Tears Draco. I mean, Kyurem was so good for us in this game. The fact that it took that Spatial Rend at -2 special defense, this is exactly why this Grimmsnarl is such a good partner, right? You have that Scary Face, and Kyurem-White can just one-shot most things. You just need to protect it from its main weaknesses. And so, Grimmsnarl, very natural partner. You set up the screens for it. But yeah, huge that we just outsped the Venusaur there. And just pick up that KO. I should just double-check its base, or our speed investment here. We are timid max. Okay, nice. That's good to know. Just wanted to double check that. Now we can just go for a Scary... Well, there's no reason to Scary Face, actually. It should just be Spirit Break into Draco Meteor. The fact that we can one-shot a Dynamax Pokemon in that Venusaur was such a good feeling. So, Yeah, I mean, Palkia definitely could have maxed turn 1. If it maxed, Max Wormwind might have actually one-shot my Kyurem. So even though this game worked out for us, I don't think I'd play turn 1 the same way, because I just didn't expect the Fake Tears, to be honest. I haven't seen Fake Tears Liepard in a while. For what it's worth, actually, Liepard's one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. I used it to win a regional championships in 2013. Back in the day, like, Liepard Breloom was a thing where you can, like, fake out Spore. So Breloom obviously no longer around, but yeah, always fun to see Liepard. We've got a Xerneas team here. Well, Xerneas definitely is scary for Kyurem, right? The thing is, Kyurem's actually amazing other than against Xerneas. Xerneas is so tricky here. Could go Grimmsnarl. I do have Taunt. I don't think that really does anything. Scary Face here. Spirit Break, Light Screen. If I'm my opponent, what am I leading? Aleki. Well, if you want to set up Xerneas, it pretty much has to be Incin plus Xerneas, right? More or less. Hold on, if you lead Incin Xerneas, what if I go Thundurus Grim? Then I can Scary Face the Xerneas. You give me a Defiant Boost Max Airstream. Actually, I really like Thundurus Grim. I think Kyurem in the back. It's just tricky because it feels like I should bring Ferrothorn solely to deal with Xerneas. This thing does have Gyro Ball as well. It's probably the correct answer here. Incin's just a little bit tempting for Intimidate. Actually, the Intimidate's only really helping against their Landorus, so... Alright, let's try this approach. I think I definitely could have led Kyurem as well, but I want to match up better against the Xerneas, and I think Thundurus does pretty well into my opponent's team, all things considered. It just might be frustrating because they might counter my Thundurus, and then I'm like, oh, I could have brought Kyurem, because Kyurem covers a lot of the Thundurus counters quite nicely. So let's see. Either way, though, that last game was sick. It's Aleki and Metagross. So yeah, I mean, Kyurem could have been pretty nice here. This isn't terrible, though, but it's also not amazing. I can Reflect turn 1. I like switching out into Ferrothorn here and going for a Reflect. If I went with Grimmsnarl plus Kyurem, I could have gone Scary Face onto Aleki and then just Max Flare into Metagross. My only problem is I don't know if the Max Flare one-shots. So I definitely got outlet a little bit here. This is exactly what I was saying, where I was like, we would counter the Xerneas setups, but the Metagross lead is very good on my opponent's end. That being said, Ferrothorn's quite a nice switch-in for us here. And in fact, if my opponent has Aleki, Metagross, and Xerneas, that means their only Ferrothorn answer is probably going to be the Incineroar. I love the mark here, Ferrothorn the Arrogant. Which means if I get a single Iron Defense off, this actually could be a Ferrothorn sweep. It's just tough because I have to cover for the Incineroar in the back. My other question is whether or not we survive a Max Steel Spike after getting Reflect up. I would think so, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So let's see. The awkward thing is I probably am not going to Dynamax Thundurus at this point, which feels kind of bad, because it's pretty useless if you don't max it. Oh, they just T-Bolt into Ferrothorn. Okay, that works for me. And Hailstorm, double up into the Ferrothorn. Yeah, makes sense. Fine by me. Should survive with over 50. Yep, beautiful. Okay, 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 not bad. So that's one turn of Dynamax over. We've got Kyurem in the back. I don't have Protect on the Ferrothorn, which is the only downside here. And Ferrothorn has taken a lot of damage, so I'm not sure it's a win condition anymore after a solid double up on my opponent into that slot. See, I should survive another double up. I could Light Screen here with Grimmsnarl, but I'm actually thinking of just attacking outright this turn. Because if we can KO the Regieleki, then I think Kyurem actually has a field day in the late game here. So, I'm just going to go for Body Press in case you switch into Incineroar and Spirit Break into the Aleki slot. And they switch out. Show me Incin. Yeah, nice. Okay. Although I could have made a kind of a cool play there if I switched out Grimmsnarl into Thundurus, they actually would have given me the Defiant boost, which would have been nice. It would have been very nice, actually, but I'm still okay with this. Steel Spike into Grim. Nice, and we hang on. That's a really big deal, honestly. Because I think what we're positioning ourselves for is basically a late-game Kyurem sweep. I might actually even switch out the Grimmsnarl just to conserve a Scary Face for Regieleki in the late game. I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, I'll take this turn. I'm pretty happy about the outcome of this turn. Body press is always just really nice damage. And, oh, it almost KOs Incin. Wow, that was really close. That was a crit, that's why. Okay. Oh, and they're not going to be... It's Goggles, isn't it? Oh, no, it's just slow. Okay, so AV or Shuckle is likely the item. It actually almost just faints after this turn. Okay, we definitely should conserve Ferrothorn in this position, so I think the play is to switch Ferrothorn out into Thundurus. Yeah. I want to conserve both of these, but Ferrothorn feels so essential to conserve, because how is my opponent going to beat Ferrothorn in the late game? Well, if it were at full HP, it actually probably would just win us the game by itself, but I'm down to switch into Thundurus and go for a Light Screen here. I could have risked switching Grimmsnarl out into Kyurem, but imagine if I switch in Kyurem and I just take a Max Steel Spike up to the face. That's not great. If we get Light Screen off, I feel very good about our chances of winning. And, oh, they don't go for Fake Out. Okay, that's huge. Yeah, because I think my opponent might feel the pressure to Flare Blitz in this position. Alright, so that's great. Because, like, Incin will faint. It will be a 3-on-3 match, but I have both screens up, and my opponent's Dynamax is over, whereas I haven't even Dynamaxed yet. And we've eliminated the biggest threat to Regieleki. What am I saying? We've eliminated the biggest threat to Ferrothorn. I'm not using Regieleki. It's a good Flare Blitz, though, because Incin already has so low HP, you're going to faint from Hail anyway, so might as well go out with a bang. And you don't take... like, the recoil is basically irrelevant. It's a free Flare Blitz, which is nice. Okay. So we have 50% Thundurus, 50% Ferrothorn. My opponent has a Lecky in the back. I think it makes the most sense to just bring out Kyurem. Yeah, I'm down for that. Mainly because, like, I don't want two Pokemon that are weak that I can't Dynamax. And this actually could be an angle to Dynamax Thundurus to give a speed boost onto Kyurem. They bring out Xerneas. Okay, yeah, then this is definitely a Max Thundurus game. Because what we can do is Max Airstream into Blizzard. And with Reflect, I don't think an Ice Punch from Metagross should KO us. And as soon as we get some speed boosts, we're looking real good. So, well, I don't know, I could Dynamax Kyurem here as well, but I actually really like the idea of giving speed boosts onto Kyurem for this endgame. So, Max Airstream Blizzard, I think that would KO the Xerneas. Even if it doesn't, I mean, Xerneas, well, what would be a problem? If you actually, if you survived in Geomancy, that could be an issue. That's why I was thinking of bringing Ferrothorn out first, because my opponent can't Dynamax, and I don't think they can actually knock out Ferrothorn, and then Ferrothorn puts on pressure with Leech Seed and Gyro Ball. But I think I'd rather go on the offensive here. So let's see if Xerneas protects first of all. Yeah, okay, they do go for a protect. But that's fine, because as soon as I get a speed boost onto this Thundurus, or onto my opponent, like, a speed boost in general here is just really, really valuable for this endgame, I think. Especially because I still have that lefty's Ferrothorn in the back. And if Ice Punch doesn't one-shot us here, we're looking real solid, I think. Blizzard also has a freeze chance onto the Metagross. It should do around like 30%ish or so. Yeah, it's not bad damage at all. Okay. And they go for Ice Punch. Yeah, that's fine. Nice. Thundurus hangs on. Hopefully no freeze. Okay, good. No freeze there means we are looking really good. We are looking really, really good, actually, because I think we can just go for another Max Airstream and another Blizzard. Then Kyurem's at +2 speed, which means we should outspeed with Kyurem in this endgame and just spam Blizzard. Because we hit 322 speed. We definitely outspeed the Regieleki. They can't drop our speeds. So, yeah, I think I just like Airstream and Blizzard again here. So you can see the synergy with this team, right? You don't necessarily need a Max Kyurem. Ooh, that's interesting. That is an interesting option. I don't know if it does anything for my opponent. I thought their best chance there was actually to go for double protect, because now the Aleki faints. But I like the idea of conserving your Xerneas to potentially get a Geomancy off. I think that's smart. Either way, though, Blizzard should finish off the Aleki, should do a sizable amount to the Metagross, and even if you go for a, another Ice Punch onto Thundurus, I just get a free switch into the Ferrothorn, and then Ferrothorn can just Gyro Ball the Xerneas. Which is why Ferrothorn was actually very important in this late game. But they're actually going to go for the Iron Head, which makes sense here. But yeah, you can see how good the screens are for us here as we survive. Hail stops, so I can't spam Blizzard. I guess my only fear here now is if you have Bullet Punch on that Metagross. That would be scary, actually. Still have screens up. Got Ferrothorn waiting in the back. Honestly, I kind of like just Airstream into Xern, because I don't want Xern to get a Geomancy off in this game. So I want to just Airstream and Fusion Flare into Xerneas. As long as Xerneas doesn't Geomancy, Ferrothorn should win the game. Nice, and they protect Metagross. Yeah, they went all in with this play, basically hoping for me to double up onto like Metagross or basically ignore the Xerneas. But Xerneas is obviously just such a big threat. There's no way I can leave this untouched. Because the way we can lose this game is if my opponent gets a Geomancy off, it doesn't matter how much HP they have, and then Xerneas just clicks Dazzling Gleam, double KO, I bring out Ferrothorn, and then you just Moonblast KO me. And this was pretty low risk. Oh, we get the Fusion Flare animation, which is sick. This should KO, right? Nice. Alright, sick. Screens have been so essential for us, though, right? Because it basically allowed both of our Pokemon to survive the turn. Without the screens, I'm not sure either of them would have survived the attacks from Metagross. So, turn 1 was really important just to weather the storm a little bit, and Kyurem basically got maximum damage output in this game, which was really, really good for us. So, yeah. Just go for a Lash Out and a Fusion Flare now, and that should finish up the deal. Honestly, really, really good debut 2 games for Kyurem here, though. Like, I'm very pleased about it, and you can see how well-constructed the team is, right? In Game 1, we were able to just kind of sweep with Dynamax Kyurem, and that Scary Face support's really valuable. And then in that last game, you can see how sometimes you actually want regular Kyurem. That last game was also interesting because my opponent kindly enough set up the Hail for us, so I figured, you know, why not take advantage of the fact they set up the Hail and just try to use regular Kyurem rather than Dynamaxing it. The main thing in that last game was that I really just didn't want to deal with Geomancy Xerneas, and so with Max Airstream there, it just covered for all of our bases, right? I think what could have been interesting is my opponent targeted the Kyurem with the Iron Head the turn I went for Max Airstream Blizzard the first time around. Then, the problem is that my Kyurem is at risk of getting KO the subsequent turn. I don't know how, like, whether or not Max Airstream would pick up a one-hit KO onto Xerneas from the range that it was at, because that's a really big question. I don't think it would have, but it's close. I mean, Xerneases don't run that much bulk. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's very dependent. But I think that last game is an example of how sometimes you have to be careful and think about the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario was Xerneas getting a Geomancy off in that endgame and actually winning. Because let's say they Geomancy, I don't knock out the Xerneas. My Dynamax was over, so I didn't have a guarantee. It's not like I could have max moved into Metagross to get a KO either. And so if I Airstream Xerneas, Fusion Flare into Metagross, Airstream obviously didn't KO. Actually, we saw that Airstream didn't come close to KOing. Yeah, what was I saying? So that wasn't even a guess. So I think my opponent could have made it tougher if they went for Iron Head onto my Kyurem rather than Ice Punch onto Thundurus. But obviously, you know, they were thinking maybe I'll just use regular Thundurus or hoping that Ice Punch would just pick up a KO, but Reflect was obviously very clutch for us there. The other thing about Ferrothorn is to consider what is my endgame win condition with Ferrothorn. Often your opponents will only have 1 or 2 Pokemon that have super effective type attacks or fire type attacks in particular. Wow, it's been a while since we can't find someone. Let's try again. So if they don't have those fire type attacks, or you eliminate the Pokemon with the fire type attacks, that really paves the way for Ferrothorn to succeed in the late game, right? That's why I was really happy to get as much damage onto the Incineroar as possible. The reality though is in that scenario, my opponent didn't have a good switch into Spirit Break plus Body Press other than maybe their Xerneas. But you're not really going to switch into Xerneas on a Ferrothorn in that position. So yeah, and then with the Spirit Break, it's just in a tough spot. So I talk about this concept sometimes, like the idea of pinning your opponent where they basically just can't get a free switch in into anything. And then you can punish either what's in or whatever switches in for a ton of damage. That's often very ideal. This is going to be tricky, and I'll tell you why. It's because we can't use Scary Face if they bring out the Indeedee. And I also can't Fake Out. Yeah, this is not a very good matchup on paper in my opinion, but I think we can maybe play towards Assault Vest Thundurus. I mean, I guess Kyurem isn't terrible, but Kyurem against, like, Indeedee plus Calyrex doesn't seem really good. So I think we definitely Dynamax Thundurus in this game. We can set up screens with Grimmsnarl, sure. Kyurem in the back. Oddly enough, it might be Incineroar. I guess we don't have a Dark-type attack, though, into the Calyrex. But it does give me Intimidate. I feel like this game is too fast-paced for Ferrothorn to do much, right? My opponent has a lot of Ghost-type attacks. You can lower my defense. Urshifu can crit with Wicked Blow, and I can't Protect with Ferrothorn because I don't have Protect. Water Urshifu is interesting, but I think I'm going to bring Incineroar because Incineroar, like, their main threats are going to be Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and Cinderace, right? So, yeah. But this one's tricky, I think, because I don't really have great speed control, and Kyurem on paper doesn't match up as well as it did in the last couple of matchups. So, yeah. I also want to give the Rowlet a shout out here. If there's any crazy plays that happen, I'll use that as the reaction. Okay, so we see another Aleki and Indeedee. You know, it's actually not bad at all. That's actually really interesting. Because I'm honestly contemplating... Wait, there's so many options, actually. Oh, does Max Lightning plus Spirit Break KO Indeedee? If we can get rid of Indeedee, like, and set up the terrain, that means I can actually Scary Face with Grimmsnarl. It's hard to believe I can Max Darkness. Because this lead matchup is actually not bad for us. Just don't know how bulky the Indeedee is. I really want to just Lightning, change the terrain, and Spirit Break into it. So I think I'm going to go for that. You don't have a safe switching into this either. Well, as I was saying, this was the perfect reaction face. Now that I have to say I did not consider. To be honest, it's not even the end of the world. Well, I should have airstreamed here. This always happens. It's always like Dynamax Regieleki or Dynamax Porygon 2. I just don't consider the option of it maxing at all, and it messes me up. That being said, we are Assault Vest on Thundurus, and they're faster than us, so it's not like they'll have an Electric Terrain boosted Max Lightning to kick things off. Oh, good gosh. I wonder if they actually just targeted Grimmsnarl here for a KO. No, they target Thundurus, okay. That's a crit, 100%. There's no way that wasn't a crit, right? We're Assault Vest. There's no way that KOs. What? It's because it's Life Orb. But still. Wow. Okay, you know the thing is we could actually still win this, so let's not give up, but what in the world? That one-shot? I can't believe that. If it doesn't one-shot, I honestly don't even think we're in that bad shape, but I guess I could have just gone Light Screen Airstream instead. Well, that's a first. Life Orb Aleki with Helping Hand Indeedee. I guess actually you can just go for a Follow Me now. Blizzard plus Light Screen. Here's the thing. I really want to Spirit Break and Draco Meteor into Aleki. I'm already pretty behind in this game. If you're my opponent, you can just go for Follow Me and Max Lightning into Grimmsnarl. That feels really safe. Okay, so let's say they do that. Get Blizzard and I guess just Light Screen. Wow, I can't believe that one-shot Thundurus without a crit. I'm bewildered by that. Yeah, so they did go for Follow Me. You know, if we get a freeze here, I don't think we survive Max Lightning. This is Assault Vest Thundurus too. I want to do the damage calc on that because I didn't think there was any chance that could one-shot without a crit. It's a testament to how strong Regieleki is. It's probably Thunder Aleki too, right? I think that gets Thunder. Even with the... We missed Blizzard, but we can't really complain about that when we're relying on such an accurate attack. Man, I'm at a loss for words. This game's over, to be honest, so I want to do that damage calc. I'll do it after the game. Let's finish off the game first. It's just sad because Kyurem lead would have been pretty good here because Aleki can't actually do that much damage into Kyurem. But hey, if you're looking for a counter to AB Thundurus, there you go. I guess that's it. Are you just Helping Hand Lightning Incin here right now? I've got no out here. Let's not say we don't have any out. Maybe, no, there's no way we survive a Max Lightning. Could freeze Aleki, but without speed control. Like I mean, that turn one is just like, the element of surprise can be really big, especially when you have something like this, right? Because that was a one-hit KO I was absolutely not expecting. If I just Light Screen and Lightning turn one, no, but then you just Follow Me, so I can't even go for the... like, if I were to replay this, I guess Light Screen Max Airstream turn 1. We just needed to survive. Okay, I need to do the calc on this. Because I'm at a loss for words. I basically predicted it when I was like, hey, if anything surprising happens. Wow. It's got to be Thunder, too, I think. Like, the increase in base power. Okay, let's double check. So, Regieleki. Let me just forfeit. They've won this game for sure. We also missed the blizzards, but once again, can't really complain about that when your accuracy is so mediocre. So, Regieleki into Thundurus. We didn't have any bulk. What? Goes for a taunt. Yeah. I mean... Bounce, I mean, it makes sense because you can max Airstream. Oh my gosh, how many blizzards have we missed? Wait, is there a chance? No, wait. I don't know why they're taunting. You just Moonblast there, but whatever. Terrain disappears. I'm sure their last... I mean, it's Calyrex. There's no way Kyurem can actually handle it, so yeah. Alright, it's okay. We're just getting all the bad mojo with Blizzard misses out here. That's how I see it. Okay, so let's see. AV Thundurus with no bulk. You Dynamax against, let's say it's Modest Aleki. Like the strongest possible combination. Modest, Life Orb, and I'm assuming it's Thunder. Let's see. Helping Hand. It must have been the possible, most maximum roll possible. Wait, I don't even get this. This is saying Thundurus AV with no bulk should never feint to that in one shot. So how in the world do we feint to it? This isn't minus special defense, is it? No. Wait, does it have an attack stronger than Thunder? Electro Ball, maybe? I don't get how it one-shot, because this is saying Modest, Life Orb, Transistor, Regieleki, Helping Hand, Max Lightning versus No Bulk, AV, Dynamax, Thundurus is 83 to 98%. So did it have... or maybe the calc is just wrong, but... Does Regieleki get any stronger, like a base 150 Max Lightning rather than 140? Because if it's 150, you actually have a shot at one-shotting. So that's my guess. I just don't know what that attack is. Regieleki. What's stronger than Thunder that you get? Is it Zap Cannon? Wait, does that actually... Is that higher power? It's not, right? Is there anything stronger? Zap Cannon, Thunder. I'm honestly kind of confused. But maybe the calc is just wrong. Am I inputting everything correctly there? Because like I didn't think that would ever KO even in the max scenario. Maybe I'm forgetting about something here, but yeah. Like, I wish we could check their team there, because I have no idea what the... It must be something that's higher base power, right? That's the only explanation. Because if it's just Thunder, it's not a guaranteed KO ever. Actually, never KOs. Because you have a base 140 Max Lightning rather than anything stronger. So I'm kind of confused. Yeah, maybe someone in the comment section can educate me on that one, because I think I'm doing this calc right. They have Helping Hand, they have Life Orb, they have Transistor, it's Regieleki, Life Orb, Max Modest, and we have 4 HP, 0 Special Defense, Dynamax Thundurus. Because like I said, I was really caught off guard by that. So if anyone can figure out how that one-shots, let me know in the comment section below. Either way, let's play one more game here. Wow. I really don't get it. I don't know what I'm missing here. Is this the right Regiform, right? Yeah, it says Regieleki. Huh. Alright, well, if anyone figures it out, it would be greatly appreciated. Alright, we got Coalossal stuff here now. Coal. Now, Urshifu's kind of cool here, because I can just Surging Strikes. Definitely have to worry about Dragapult, though, right? Yeah, I really do. Oh, I don't have Max Quake on this thing, either. Dragapult. I could always go Grimmsnarl Kyurem and just set up screens. Urshifu in the back. Probably Thundurus. Thundurus normally feels weird to bring as a one-of if you're not maxing it, but in this case it makes sense, I think, because they have Yveltal and Tapu Fini. And we also have Last Shot for Dragapult. Wait, I'm still just so confused by that last game. I'm sure there's something I'm not accounting for here. But yeah. Let me double check Regieleki's moveset. Either way, that's a really interesting Eleki set with Bounce. Magnet, Rising Voltage, Shockwave. I mean, the highest base power special attack I see is Zap Cannon, which is still base 140 max lightning, right? Is there an item that Indeedee could have had that boosts Aleki's damage output? That's my last question, I guess. It's just Dragapult, yeah. I'm not trick full instance reject button here, but I wonder if my opponent respects that option, because often players don't bother respecting that option. I wonder if you just Vocalith here in a Grimmsnarl. Because I have Urshifu for just to search like an Aqua Jet into this, as long as I do damage onto it. So I'm thinking, hey, let's just Light Screen, max this thing. And Wormwind. Part of me wants to max guard Kyurem, honestly, if you're targeting Kyurem here. I don't like this play. This, okay. Well, I guess it might work out okay. What if they max Dragapult here? Oh man, I was so close to light screening and Wormwinding there. Wormwind into Instant would have been sick. But it's okay, because I think having Urshifu is... Okay, they're not maxing Dragapult. Let's see what they opt for. Man, I'm still trying to figure out that last one. Just didn't think I'd ever see my Assault Vest Thundurus get one shot. That is a good switch, though, so they did cover for the option of me having, like, Lagging Tail or whatever here. But that's fine, honestly. It's just a waste of a max guard. Curious what they go for here on Pulse. Okay, I don't think they realize we're special here. That's a really big deal. Because I can Hailstorm Dragapult now. I'm gonna set up a light screen here. That was obviously like a complete waste of the first turn, but to be honest, you can afford to have turns go like that. As long as the Coalossal is denied the setup, that's important. And I'm willing to trade one turn of max for that. Especially if I end up getting both screens. If Coalossal does not get that Steam Engine activation through Dragapult, it's actually not bad at all. It's clearly support Dragapult. I guess my only fear here is they go for, like, they have Phantom Force and they go for it. But we're actually not in bad shape at all here. I have revealed my Scary Face tech, but that's fine too. Okay, well, light screen. Phantom Force would be pretty sick here. So let's see. They just go for Will-O-Wisp and miss. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel that bad about the miss since it's not like we're a physically oriented Kyurem. So, like, that's honestly fine. I guess here you can go for a Parting Shot now into the Kyurem. I wonder if Life Orb Wormwind just one-shots turn 1, because if so, that would have been really sick. Oh, they taunt. Huh. Okay. I mean, that makes sense, but honestly, I don't mind that too much, to be honest. I already got my light screen up. The main thing is I can't Scary Face, but now as long as my opponent's Coalossal doesn't get boosted, we're good. I think that's the tricky thing with leading Coalossal into a potential Prankster user. You have to respect potential trick shenanigans. Because if you don't and they have it, you'll just insta-lose the game. Okay, so they bring Cole back out, but that's fine by me. What do we think the last one's going to be? Yveltal, right? So I don't think their Coal will actually get activated in this game, which is kind of nice. I don't mind just Spirit Breaking into Coalossal here and going for a Wormwind onto Incin. Actually, we should double up onto Incin in case it doesn't KO. Well, I kind of like the special attack drop on Coal, actually. Wormwind should cover any switch out option, unless your last one's Fini. Okay, I don't know. I mean, the main thing here is that their Coalossal didn't get activated. Like I said, even though turn 1 looked really bad for us, it put my opponent in a really weird offensive position. And by forcing them to make a switch like that, I think it's worth trading a turn of Dynamax. But like I said, it didn't make a lot of sense, and my opponent just goes Surf Vocalid into Grimmsnarl there. We're not in good shape. Nice, and they max guard. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to target that slot. Although, I don't know if Life Orb Wormwind one-shots here. Oh, you're so good, Kyurem. That was a crit. That could have mattered. That definitely could have mattered. You know what? I want to do the calc, because I have no idea. So, Kyurem... White. It's base 170. Into Incineroar. We're Timid. Life Orb. Life Orb. Timid. I think it basically comes down to how much special defense investment you have. Like, let's say you're max HP, no special defense investment. It's a guaranteed KO, basically. But if you have special defense investment, you can certainly survive there. Oh, interesting. It's actually Regieleki as their last one. Okay. Well, light screen being up is great for us. I think we just try to go for Spirit Break. Let's just KO Lecky here, right? Spirit Break and Blizzard. Blizzard because I don't want to miss my attacks here. Yeah, they go for an Electro Whip, but that's fine. I don't even know if your Coalossal I don't think outspeeds Kyurem. Do you? If you do, there is an argument to be made to switch out Grimmsnarl there, but Urshifu should win the game against Coalossal as soon as I KO the Regieleki. Yeah, nice. Okay. This game was very dependent on how turn 1 played out, though, and I was hoping the Grimmsnarl would, scare my opponent away from just going for Surf Weakness Policy activation turn 1, and it was able to accomplish that in the end. So, Volclid comes out, should knock out Kyurem here. Yep. But now with Thundurus and the Urshifu in the back, it should be a guaranteed win. We just bring out Thundurus first, go for Superpower onto Coalossal, Spirit Break again onto Coalossal, then Urshifu comes out, and we just need to go for a Surging Strikes. Coalossal, don't take this as an example game, though, where you say, oh, Coalossal didn't do very much because its Steam Engine and Weakness Policy weren't activated. The reality is, Coalossal can be a really good Pokemon, even without Steam Engine and Weakness Policy. But in this matchup, I think that, yeah, my opponent just gave up way too many resources in the early game. One interesting thing they could have actually gone for instead of that Will-O-Wisp was switching. Oh, this actually could have been really interesting. They could have just switched out their Dragapult, or sorry, their Incin, back out into Coalossal and just gone for a Surf immediately. Then you at least activate your Weakness Policy in your Steam Engine. But I think my opponent was too hard locked into thinking I was physical Kyurem. So this reminds me a lot of when we were playing with that Zekrom team, just a couple of days ago. Because your opponents will often think, hey, they're built one certain way, when in reality they're not. I'm just going for Superpower here, because, yeah, sure, I'll activate Weakness Policy, but I have a Focus Sash Urshifu in the back with Surging Strikes that outspeeds Coalossal, right? So I don't really care about activating Policy here as long as I guarantee I KO the... or as long as I get the guaranteed free switch into Urshifu, where, I just get any attack off. They are going to Max Flare, though, so I guess that actually, interestingly enough, changes the weather, but it doesn't actually make enough of a difference here. I'm still just trying to figure out how to Lecky one-shot us. Yeah. I mean, the reality of that third game matchup is in order to win, we need to maximize our Thundurus, and I absolutely did not maximize my Thundurus use, but I didn't think I'd ever faint to it. I've just never seen that before, truth be told. So, yeah. Okay, see. I mean, it really doesn't matter given that we have Urshifu in the back. And at this point, their Dynamax is over anyway, so we can just go for, we don't even have to go for the Surging Strikes. We can just close combat. Yeah, Cole protects, but there's only so much you can do. But like I said, I don't know if I really like my turn 1 play. My turn 1 play was to cover for Surf plus Weakness Policy activation. And the idea is I lower your speed, and then the next turn, I can Scary Face again, knock out Dragapult, and then I bring out the Urshifu, and then I can Surging Strikes into you. But, like I said, if my opponent just went Surf Volcalid turn 1 into Grimmsnarl, I feel like we probably lose. So this is a good example of a game where we'll probably win, but did I play my best? I don't know, because I didn't like my option turn 1. And in a best of 3, what would I do differently? I think the Pokemon we brought were absolutely the correct ones, though, so I don't think I'd change anything about that. Yeah, we just close combat here. There's no reason to Surging Strikes. Curious. No, there's no way Coalossal survives Surging Strikes from like 40% in the sun. And if it were Dynamax, maybe, but not regular Coalossal. Well, that was definitely a set of games. I mean, I'm happy about those, all things considered. The wins were all good wins on the board. The loss, I still am trying to wrap my mind around. So if anyone knows how Gieleki can one-shot Thundurus in that position, please let me know, because I'm kind of confused. I'm wondering if there's maybe an item on, like, the Indeedee I'm not considering, but my mind is kind of just blown. But maybe the damage calc is also just not fully accurate, and that, like, it has a slight chance of one-shotting, but I honestly have no idea. So, yeah. Either way, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Thank you to Filippo for the team. And once again, check out Rento and Paste down in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. All right, peace. Also, my boy Rowlet says peace, too. All right, see you guys.